Hey, what's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV, powered by stagefront.vip. Being joined with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, I feel like we're going to have a good chat, man. I don't know. I just get this energy. In no particular order, I'm just get your reactions. Yeah. First off, this Ryan Rolly debacle. What's Eddie's take?
I can't keep up with it. I mean, firstly, Ryan DM'd me to say, no, like, I don't know, like a month ago, and said, just want to let you know, I want the Devin Haney fight. Yeah. That's my next fight. And I was like, wow, fair play. Like, that is a legacy fight. That's, you know, and then Oscar and Eric reached out and we started talking about that fight. Then he just tweeted going, I'm not fighting Devin anymore. I'm fighting Rolly. So I was like, okay. And then...
So wait, so did you ever hit him back and been like, yo, what happened? Or did you ever get a response?
No, I actually messaged him the other day. I didn't get a reply because he started talking about Regis. And I said, well, Regis will take the fight, you know. So, anyway, so the Rolly stuff, like, the only way I can interpret it as someone that would know the industry is Rolly. You know, you got PBC, you got DAZN and Golden Boy. PBC want to keep Rolly and give him to his guys. Ryan Garcia is not yet a PBC fighter, or is not, you know, so PBC are always very reluctant to give you one of their guys or a belt when you're the favourite in the fight, of which Ryan would be a big favourite in that fight, in my opinion. So, as I understand it, Rolly is fighting Isaac Cruz, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully, now, and this would be the natural thing to do, Ryan just turns around and go, okay, I'm back to Devin. And we just go ahead and make Haney Garcia, which is the 100% the fight to make. One of the best fights in the sport. So we'll see. Or if he wants to fight Regis, we've also got Regis for him. Or whatever. But, you know, yeah. I just, like, last night it got announced by Ryan Garcia, and then they announced
this morning,
so I don't know.
It kind of had me scratching my head, but okay, because you mentioned Devin, Oscar's here. Are you going to have a meeting with him and see?
Sure. It doesn't really, like, with all due respect to Oscar, Ryan is going to choose to fight, right? So that's why when I heard Ryan say, I'm fighting Devin Haney, I was over the moon, because I know that's not promoter talk, that's fighter talk. So I was disappointed when that fell apart. Hopefully now Ryan wants to revisit that, you know. Ryan is a great fighter. He's a really big name, but he also needs a dance partner. You know, you can't just do Ryan against X and expect it to do really well
on pay-per-view
or on pay-per-view. And I feel like
Oscar said it's pay-per-view. It's going to do pay-per-view 420.
But then if it's pay-per-view, it really has to be Devin Haney or Tank or Tszyu or, you know, and we're ready.
Regis,
maybe. You know, it's a good fight, but you know, that fight's there to be made, and hopefully we can talk about it.
So it sounds like there's no really concrete movement at this point for Devin, right?
No, just a lot of conversations. I mean, he was out, you know, in Saudi Arabia at the show with us. You know, he's got a mandatory in Sandor Martin, which I'll let Maurizio know my opinions on that fight. And I love Sandor, I think but that's just not the fight that's going to advance the career of Devin Haney. And you know, Bill's doing his thing. We'll see him next week in Vegas for the Conor Benn fight, and see what's what.
Bill at the Conor Benn fight? Bill Haney? Oh,
yeah.
You're going to see him. Oh, I thought somehow with Conor or something. I was like, oh, what?
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows?
You know, you mentioned you were at the promoter summit or the mini promoter summit. How was that? The interaction with...
It was good. Look, Maurizio reached out to every major promoter and invited them to come.
I saw a few missing people there. Yeah. I didn't see Leonard there.
No, but I think it was just the major promoters. So it was no, but PBC were there. Yeah. So obviously,
Louis was there.
Yeah, Louis and Tom Brown, Bob Arum, Tom Loeffler, the Churches, probably missing some Fernando Beltran, etc. So it was good. Like, there was a few people missing, but it's difficult to like just fly to Vegas and have a meeting. But it was really the goodwill that was important from people to say talking's good. Like, we can all say we're going to do this, we say we're going to do this, but I do feel, you know, particularly in the last 6 months, a little bit of a swing in mindset from some promoters, not all promoters, to actually say, yeah, like, as we've seen from the Matchroom and Queensbury stuff. Like, it's actually gone down really well, and I think fans get really excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's. I feel like there's good energy, but
It can change.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, like I said earlier, I've probably said some things I shouldn't have over the years, but I like to be entertaining, and I think some of the controversy is sometimes good for boxing. And the rivalry is good, but the problem is some people, you probably heard me say, you could literally burn down Bob Arum's house, and he would do a deal with you an hour later for a fight. Like, he don't give he don't care what I say. I mean, if he's asked about it, he might say, but really, he's still going to do the deal. He's not going to miss out on making money. He's not going to miss out on an opportunity for his fighter. But some people do. And that's really been the problem over the years, where I've said something and someone goes, I'm not working with him. It's like, well, hang on. What about this fight? No. He said that. That's ridiculous. But that's life. And I've just learned over the years probably just to taper it back a little bit and not be that. I'm getting on a bit now, so I'm a little bit more diplomatic, but I feel like some people take things too personally, and it does stop fights from happening, and we don't want that.
They announced the March 30th PBC on Amazon Prime rollout. Keith Thurman against Tszyu, and then co-main Rolly and Isaac Cruz. You as a promoter, what do you make of that rollout for that first show?
It feels a little bit like throw a load of stuff together. Do you know what I mean? I've done it before. Do you know what I mean? When you've got a day and you haven't quite got a main event, so you want to make a load of fights for a card, and it's still like it's a good night of boxing. The problem is when you do a pay-per-view card, you need a flagship main event. And Tszyu, I really like, by the way, I think he's really exciting, against Thurman. He's not it. And I don't, I would have liked to have seen another fight. I don't feel like Thurman, who hasn't boxed for 2 years, should be fighting, a world champion at 154 pounds. But also, it's quite strange to go with Tszyu, who hasn't really got the profile in America to headline a pay-per-view card. And Thurman's profile in America is really not. So it just feels a little bit slung together quickly. But still, good night of boxing. I just feel like those cards where you put a good card on. I'm going to sneeze.
Wait, sneeze there from Eddie.
Where you put a good card on, but it's all botched together, it doesn't really do the numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it seems like they're stacking it. They're trying to make like the product as a whole is good, not just the one.
But if you're doing a pay-per-view, you have to have a big main event. I've done it before, by the way. I'm not criticising them. I've done it. It's never worked. And when they did Benavidez Andrade, it was the same thing. They put on Charlo and it didn't work. It didn't hit the numbers. And I feel like the pay-per-view market is so difficult right now that you just got to be careful with the product. And although I'm sure it'll be a great night of boxing, the fan, the casual pay-per-view fan that you need to engage is not going to go Tszyu against Thurman. Yes, let's get everyone round to watch that. Do you know what I mean? As exciting as Tim is. And he's really exciting. But, they've got to deliver something. And it's not like it's rubbish. It's not. It's a good night of boxing. But how many buys is it going to do? And that's the problem with pay-per-view at the moment. We've gone from you don't do a pay-per-view unless it does 200,000 or 300,000 to even if it does 50,000 buys, we're still going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm getting the wrap up. I don't recognize her. She work for Matchroom, Eddie? Golden. Okay, we can keep on going. Eddie, the big heavyweights coming up. First, the undisputed fight against Fury and Usyk, and then also your man, Anthony Joshua. What did Ben do to this guy, Anthony Joshua? He's fighting like the old AJ. What the hell happened there?
I've always said with AJ he's a guy that when he has the confidence in the game plan and what he's doing, I think he's unbeatable. And in the early part of his career, he really believed in Rob McCracken and the game plan from Rob McCracken, and he went out and he executed the game plan. When he boxed Ruiz in the second fight, he knew exactly what he had to do, and he won every round.
But then from there, that was where the criticism, he played it too safe ever since the Andy loss.
I know, but he didn't. He just was smart and boxed his ears off. Then he boxed Usyk in the first fight. Didn't really know what he was doing. In terms he had the game plan, but he didn't believe in it. The second fight, better, but against Wallin, you saw Franklin and Hellenius, okay, but then against Wilding, completely understood. Like, I watched AJ in the changing rooms hitting pads for the Wilding fight, mate. I've never seen anything like it. I was thinking, fuck, like, where has this been?
Yeah,
the noise, Marcos, of him hitting the pads, I've never seen anything like it. And he went out there, and it was, I mean, you know, it was almost embarrassing. Embarrassingly one-sided. Like, this is a guy who gave Fury life, and I mean, just beat Garcia away from home. Like, he's a good fighter, Wilding. So it's exciting. Now we go into a fight, really, which is like a massive banana skin, because if you knock him out and Ngannou in 3 rounds, everyone goes, well, it's Francis Ngannou. And if you lose, you're really up shit creek without a paddle. So there's actually quite a lot of jeopardy in this fight, and it's quite dangerous. But if he can do a job on Ngannou, and Fury can beat Usyk, which I hope he does, I like Usyk a lot, but obviously, you know, personally, I would love to see him. Come through that fight to try and make the AJ fight, and it's great to see that, you know, those heavyweight fights are within 3 weeks of each other. It's amazing.
All right, I'm getting rolled up here, Eddie, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the interview. Yes, we'll continue our chat tomorrow. Eddie, good seeing you as always, man. Appreciate it. Eddie Hearn, Marcos Vegas, here in Phoenix.